I was going to get out. I didn't want to file for bankruptcy. When I got the postcard in the mail, I figured, let me call and see what the program is about. That was the best decision I've ever made. The one time
on this lifetime. Put where you're from and put the coin in the chat. Put where you're from and put the coin in the chat. Put where you're from and put the coin in the chat. Memphis, Colorado. Siobhan, what's up? Siobhan, I ain't forgot about you. 601, Daddy's Girl. Jacktown, love, you know what I mean, love with you. Alabama, Rondo. Kansas City. Flint, Michigan. I'm glad y'all are here today, man, because I got to talk to y'all about some stuff. Roll the corn. Now, Decatur, Illinois, call me Tally. Tally is a Hebrew name, beautiful name. Ancient towns called Tally in America. Fire. Dale, what up? Now, I love you and I'm in love with you. Peace to my beautiful people from this beautiful land. Now I want to say something. Love for each other is in our culture, people. Once we stop loving each other, we ain't got no culture. Let me say that again. Love for each other is our culture. When we lose that, we don't have a culture anymore. If we lose love. Love is the basis of everything, people. Roll the corn. Our people fell in love with the earth, its animals, its things, its people. But that don't mean every other being come from that love or that admiration for their people and nature, right? That's our thing. That's what separates us from everything else. Once we lose love, we not divine. Let me say it again. Once the love is gone, ain't no divinity. Now, I read this in some books some years ago, but I want to show y'all this. I want to show y'all something that our ancient culture was talking about. I want to show y'all something that made us divine. Roll the corn. I saw somebody repost this, but I read this years ago, and it was very, very deep, right? The Egyptians didn't treat love as a game. They saw it as a spiritual connection. A true love wasn't about winning or possessing. It was about honoring the divine in one another. Let me read that again. The Egyptians didn't treat love as a game. They saw it as a spiritual connection. A true love wasn't about winning or possessing anything. Winning a person or winning a material object or possessing a material object that wasn't love. It was about honoring the divine in one another. That's real love. Love don't come from possessions. Love don't come from I'm always winning. It don't come from that. It comes from honoring the divine in one another. On the walls in Egypt, my heart leads me swiftly to you as if it was stead. My heart leads me to you as if it was stead. They was writing love songs on the walls in Egypt. Love songs, poems, poetry, right? Deep. Let's keep going. The best love lasts beyond this lifetime. Ancient Egyptian tombs were often built for two, ensuring lovers could walk eternity together. They believed love was written in the stars long before they were born. Long before they was born. Ancient wisdom, even in the afterlife, was designed for two. Tombs were built side by side so that lovers could walk eternally together. Our people always knew we don't supposed to be alone, people. You don't go through this life alone. You don't even go through the afterlife alone. But some kind of way, in some kind of, the world switched. Now ain't no love. Everybody want to walk alone. Everybody think it's cool to walk alone. In this life or the next. Well, our ancestors didn't believe that. I don't believe that. Right? Let's go back one more time. Let's go back one more time. It was about honoring the divine in one another. Before you were born, during life, and the afterlife was divine love for your people. Simple. We ain't gonna make it hard. Some kind of way trying to teach us not to do this. Let's keep going. Egyptian poetry rarely spoke of pain or struggle in relationships. Love was meant to be nurturing, joyful, and fulfilling, not a constant struggle. Let's read that again. In poetry, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, love was meant to be nurturing, joyful, and fulfilling, not a constant struggle. A love that costs you yourself is too expensive to keep. This is on the walls in Egypt. Come on now. Stick with me. It wasn't meant to be painful or stressful. It was meant to be nurturing, joyful, and fulfilling, and not a struggle at all. The love that costs you yourself is too expensive to keep. That's what they said. Now, how amazing is our people writing this on the walls in 2000 BC? Talking 4,000 years ago, people. Now, why today love looks like a struggle? Why today love don't look nurturing? It don't look joyful. It don't look fulfilling at all. We took on other people's culture. Other people's culture is not fulfilling, not nurturing and joyful. Ours was always that way. We have to get back to what made us who we are, people. Let's keep going. We have to get back to what made us who we are. The Nile was the lifeblood of Egypt, flowing freely and breathing abundance. Love, too, was meant to flow effortlessly, not to be forced or controlled. Love flows like the river, the Mississippi, the Nile, the Euphrates. Smooth and calm. A love without passion was as useless as a boat without the river or the Nile. It was meant to move, to carry, to overflow. Look at these beautiful words, people. Now, let me stop right there, because I feel every bar, right? Now, there had to be a people that was so, we're talking 2,000-3,000 BC. These people had to be a great and divine people because they were past survival at this point. They were past looking out for their people. They was past starving. These ancient times, people are starving now all over the world. They were past starving and survival. They had moved on to love. They had figured out everything they need to figure out. These are supreme people. Because they could have been talking about survival, but they was past it. They was on the love for their people. It wasn't about possessions. Let's go back. Let's go back. It wasn't about possessions, right? Possessing or winning. It wasn't about winning in life or trying to be successful, and it wasn't about possessing nothing material. It was about honoring the divine and one another. Let's keep going. I'm going to keep explaining that because that's a big part of this, right? It was meant to flow effortlessly, not to be forced or controlled. A love without passion is useless as a boat without the river or the Nile or the Mississippi, whatever they tell you. Let's keep going. Women were unusually independent for the time. They could own businesses, inherit wealth, even divorce freely. Love was meant to be a partnership, not a power struggle. Our women always been independent. That's not the thing, people. See, they taught you independence without the rest of it, but they ain't give you the rest of it. You always been independent and strong. You always been divine. But it was always meant to be a partnership, no matter how successful one or each other were. It's not a power struggle. The right love would never ask you to shrink, only to blossom. We're going to take this shit back to the basics, bro. Going back to the basics. Ain't nobody going to ask you to shrink. Ain't nobody going to ask you to forget your dreams. Ain't nobody going to ask you to forget about the things you really care about if they really love you. That's real love, right? The right love will never ask you to shrink, only to bloom. This the key, y'all. Love is the key. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. All the love is almost gone, right? So I look at it as if, let me give y'all a story before I move on. A true story. There was a man named Chokwe Lumumba. Chokwe Lumumba, the old mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. Show you a picture of him. This kind of bothering me because I know these people, right? Now, why in the hell y'all won't let me? Put the coin in the chat, coin in the chat, coin in the chat. Coin in the chat, coin in the chat, coin in the chat. Corn in the chat. Corn in the chat. All right. Tell y'all the true story before I move on with the rest of this. There's a man named Chokwe Lumumba. He was the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. This is him right here with Tupac. He was a lawyer in California. He was Tupac's lawyer when Tupac. It's a true story. Let me tell y'all how the world fucked us up. It's just something I just know personally because I was there. Chokwe Lumumba Sr., Tupac, he was his lawyer. This man was divine. I'm going to tell you why he was divine. He moved from California to Mississippi, right? I don't know if his wife was from Mississippi or something like that, but he moved from Cali as a lawyer to Mississippi because you can see he was Tupac's lawyer. Real true story. I love basketball, people. So he created a summer league team for the players in Jackson, Mississippi to play basketball all over the South. Right? He was divine. He was smart. He was a lawyer. He knew Tupac, Suge, Snoop Dogg. He moved from LA to Mississippi with his family. Right? Became the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. But I don't really know him for all that. I know him as the basketball coach who put together a summer league team that took some young men who were very good in basketball all over the South to play ball. He funded it. He put the tournaments together. He called you and checked on you. You ain't have something, he got it for you and had it for you when you got there. He was divine. The reason I remember this picture, because this picture was around the town when he became the mayor, right? Now, this man was woke. He knew all the knowledge. He knew all type of things, tell us, right? His son played on the same basketball team, the summer league team, the Jackson Panthers. Jackson Panthers. This is his son right here. Chokwe Lumumba, same name. He pled guilty to a bribery charge in Jackson, Mississippi. Right? Now, me knowing his father, I looked up to his father and their family because they had real love and joy and knowledge in their family. So his son went on, played basketball, all of us went on, but I remember his father for looking out for the AAU team in Jackson, Mississippi. But he went to college and became a lawyer. He became a lawyer. Successful. Then he became the mayor in the footsteps of his father later years after his father passed away. And his father passed away real strange in Mississippi. It's like it was some strange things that went on with his father's death, but that's another story. They kind of like somebody wanted him to, but that's another story. But anyway, the way the world shifts, you don't supposed to be guilty of nothing. Your whole family was divine. Your mama, your daddy, your sisters, whole family was divine. Your father was I don't even look up to people. Me personally. But your father, I looked up to him. He let his father down. by doing this. You let your family down, bro. You let Jackson, Mississippi down. Your father did not design your life to go the way it's going. He was divine. He made sure y'all were straight. I respected it. Now, as he pleads guilty and get ready to go to jail, this shows me how a generation of people can get greedy and not be divine because the world makes you like that when you don't even come from that. And this is what's happening with our people. We don't come from greed. We don't come from trying to live like a politician or a white man, or we don't come from that. So when we do it, they can do it all day. But when we do it, we go to jail. Because it's not even aligned with our real purpose. You don't even have to do that. I'm pretty sure your father left you everything you needed to be successful in life. So I see a divine father and the son falls from the throne after a divine father. That bothers me. Because it teaches you a lesson in real life. The world can shift you the wrong way, people. You would have stayed in the footsteps of your father, you would have been another great generation of your family name and went out a legend. So I know these people, so that's why I ain't trying to talk bad about them or nothing. I'm just saying he let his father down. The power of his father was immense in Mississippi. He done a lot of great things for Jackson, Mississippi. To see his son go through this with the same name as his father, who was a leader, a Black Panther, and all of that. That's why he named the basketball team the Jackson Panthers, because his father was associated with the Black Panthers in California. He told us about that. These divine people. So, you let your father down. That's fucked up, but it's the truth. Now, let's go back to love when I was just talking about it. Love poems spoke of longing, separation, and anticipation of reunion. They understood that love isn't just about being together, but about the ache of missing someone and the joy of reunion. 7 whole days I have not seen my beloved, and sickness has invaded me. That's love. That's real love, right? Let's keep going. If they don't make an effort, they don't really care. Love poems in Egypt. Lovers crossing rivers, risking crocodiles, and braving the elements just to see each other. They did not believe in mixed signals. If someone loved you, they showed up. Simple. They showed up. Showing up is not always about just giving you money. It's not always about what I can pay for you, and it's not about this. Showing up is showing up. That's what we're forgetting. We are forgetting the natural ways of our people. Our people today think showing up is just give me the money. You showed up. But showing up in the physical just to be there for you in a time of need is really the real showing up. We lost these ways somewhere. We lost our morals somewhere. We lost our divinity somewhere. Trying to live like these other people That's not our culture. Their culture thinks love or care comes with what somebody can do for them. Our people have taken on that bad trait that's not our trait. Just showing up is enough. Let's look at what they said. My beloved is there on the other bank. We are separated by the flood waters, but I am not afraid. I will swim through the water until I reach her and be delighted. Right? Let's think about who writing this. Look what's going on in the world when they writing this. Famine, right? Hunter-gatherers, unaliving everybody running around stealing. No unity, no culture, no knowledge. And these people talking about love on the wall. This is how more advanced they are than these other people. Do you think a hunter-gatherer who was hungry would think about some love writing on the wall? No. He's still trying to figure out where his next meal gonna come from. Right? He ain't got time for that. So this shows a people who was so far more advanced than other people that was already in divine love with each other. We had already figured out the food epidemic. We had already figured out the structure epidemic, the stars, the way the earth worked, the calendar, what minerals do come out the earth. We had already figured all that out. Now it's time to focus in on our people. That's divine. Let's keep going. That's 8. Roll the corn. Should be filled with joy. If it only brings pain, let it go. Love should be filled with joy. If it only brings pain, let it go. Their love poems were filled with celebration, admiration, and playfulness. They didn't glorify suffering and love. They knew that real love should bring happiness, not endless pain. I passed before his house and found his door ajar in love poems written in Egypt. Deep, right? Your greatest love, always be yourself. Egyptians also believed in adorning, honoring, and caring for one as sacred duty. The gods did not create love to be silent. Even the pharaohs carved their belongings in stone. Right? They called each other brother and sister. Right? Let me show y'all that part. I think I skipped it. They call each other brother and sister. Roll the corn. Now, Joseph Karnak to the poetry of Del El Medina. Love in ancient Egypt was a devotion, an art, and force that transcended time. They understood something we often forget today. Love isn't a game. It is meant to be chased, proven, and begged for if it is meant to be honored. Now, we were the only people on the planet that wrote poems and talked about each other in a great fashion. All other cultures talking about war, taking shit, unaliving. We sitting around talking about love. Now let's go to 2026. Let's go to 2026. What happened to this? What happened to this? These other cultures have creeped into our hearts and souls and changed us to heartless beings. A lot of our people become selfish, greedy. They really don't care nothing about nobody else. They don't show up for you. They don't even attempt to even check on you. That's what's going wrong. Now, when I look at other cultures, that's their culture. It's not your culture. It's not my culture to get up here and argue with my own people about our own knowledge. It's not my culture to argue with other people about my culture, because it's mine. I'm not here to tell a Native American his culture. I must focus on mine. That's the problem. We're so unfocused on stuff that don't matter that we have lost connection with the truth and the divine truth, right? Well, let me show y'all something. Roll the corn. Show y'all something. Let me show y'all something gonna blow y'all mind. Roll the corn. Show y'all something. Put the coin in the chat. corn in the chat. Now, a barbarian culture, a savage, right? They had no social structures. They had no agriculture civilizations. They done whatever it took to survive. They had no morals. So whatever it took to survive for that day, that's what they done, right? Now, if people in 2026 do whatever it takes to survive and it compromises their morals, somewhere along the line, you took on a barbarian tactic, right? Barbarous means without culture, people. Without culture. It means without culture. Traces to roots to the Greek word barbarous, meaning barbarian. Berbers are Moors, people. Now, somewhere along the line, a barbarous tribe started getting civilized. Because at first they was barbarians. I hate to tell you that. But somewhere along the line, they learned some civilization from some people who came around, who taught them another way. Our people taught them the other way. Somewhere along the line, a civilized people came around and taught Europeans another way. Our knowledge led up to leading them to a better way. And they come back and call us savages later on after history passes by. Now, these are the cultures that run the corporations today. These are people that let the police just unalive people and go home. They let Chinese men chase children down and hurt them and go home. They take our people out to the sea, to islands off the coast of Mississippi and leave them out there to die. These are people we look up to. This is what we want to be like. These are people you want to go live out there in your house beside them because they live in a good neighborhood? These are people told you got to have $20 million to even be successful. Huh? Barbarous is deeply tied to being without culture. See? This is what you got to understand. You can call yourself a Moor all you want. But if Moor comes from Berber or Amazigh is not the original culture. Somebody taught them that. The Phoenicians taught them how to be civilized. Facts. That's why I keep telling y'all Phoenicians from here. Our land and bloodline of people civilized the world, people. Now Europeans come back thousands of years later acting like we the damn savages. Because they finally learned some culture. Now, the ancient mounds in America had a culture. You can see it. Everybody grew crops to feed each other. That's a culture. They stored crops for the winter. That's a culture. Ain't nowhere else in the world that was going on at that time, people. Your culture is love and agriculture. Your culture is cooking a plate of food and giving it to your husband or your wife or your child. That's your culture. Your culture is growing that food and putting it on the plate and cooking it with love for your people. That's your culture. Now, the chosen people bought the culture. That's how you got to study. These chosen people they keep talking about in all these books, that's who bought the culture. Let's ask some questions. Let's ask some questions. The real representation of the chosen people is to represent God on earth. Now, this is why people call themselves gods, right? You represent God on earth. You're not a literal God. You represent God on earth. So what does that mean? You do earthly things, nature things, things that align with the right thing to do, right? Now, they had morals, people. Unlike surrounding other ancient cultures, they had morals. Unlike other cultures, they had morals, right? This is what makes them different. Morals about how to eat, hygiene,